Namaste Raghuram ji. Namaste all.
Namaste.
Raghuram ji, good to go. We are live.
Acha, okay. Yeah. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu Ma Vidvishavahai Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Many please. ವಿದ್ಯಾ ಒಂದು 2 ನಿಮಿಷ ಯಾರು ಗೆಸ್ಟ್ ಬಂದಿದ್ದಾರೆ.
Okay, Raghuram ji. No problem.
So Jagrata, Swapna, Sushupti, these are the 3 divisions that we have based on our own experience of all the experiences in the world are divided into these 3 categories of experiences. And we have seen their characters, their ideas and all that. And the last time that we have seen one aspect of it, which is very important. Now, in the manifest world has been defined by various philosophers, and that's what last time we have seen that the Srishti Jantakaha, that means those who are material, that means Sankhya philosophers and all that. Another thing is Kala Jantakaha, which is supposed to be the astronomers, astrologers, and all that. So all these people have defined this whatever manifest world, try to understand that. So that means all these things are developed. So now all these things are defined and understood in such a way that we get benefited out of it. So the whole manifest world is to see that how we can benefit. That's what we have seen. The idea of sthula bhuku, gross nourishment. That is what is the idea of nourishment. So any division, anything that you do for the sake of the understanding about the world outside, is to see that how you can get the nourishment out of it or the benefit out of it. So therefore, there are Srishi Chintakas and Kala Chintakas, etc. And some people have even said that the idea that this is like the mm, this is like a krida matram. That means it's like a play, and it's also like the other thing is that lila. That means take it lightly. Lila means it's like a play, and game that we play, that is what is the krida. So this krida and lila, often people use it with the uh, kind of uh, exchanging the ideas, but it's very simple. Any idea is to see that how we can benefit it out of it. So that's why we have all these kind of things that are there going on. And we play game. As I said, that Ram Leela. This whole thing is like a Ram Leela. Only what is the difference between us and Rama is that Rama has taken that as like Leela. It's not like he was caught up in that. That's why he did not lose his awareness, his balance in that. He took it in such a way. But for us, we get involved in that. So he says that Leela Matram Vibho Vishnu, when he says that, it is the idea that it is like Leela. That means don't get caught up in that seriously. That make it as a similarly play. That's a very beautiful example somebody has given is that there are some 10 people are there, so we would like to spend the evening time. How to spend the time is we divide into two groups, and then one group against other group, we play football. One ball is there, some 10 people are fighting against that. Whereas Judge Bernard Shaw said, why don't you give one ball each to everybody? Then there is no play at all. The play is there only, there is one ball, and then you are my partner, and then the other party, this party, that party, so like that. And it's all for temporary. That means to say, you are my partner, you are my enemy. All these things for an hour of play or 2 hours of play. Beyond that, it will not exist. This world also is like that. There are several characters who are there, and then we play together a particular game, a particular idea, so that we take it temporarily for that purpose. It's for the sake of doing an activity. This is also said in the case of when we talk about Asmita and Hankar. Asmita is that the work has got a asmita, the work has got an ego, and then we are taking care of that ego. That means we are playing that role. It's aropita. The role is something which is superimposed on me, and I play that role. It's only for the sake of playing that role that I have been there. Otherwise, I'm not. And this is what our people have given various kind of uh, analogies, like for example, gold ornament. Ornament is for the sake of purpose, but basic is the gold. Similarly, that you are the basic person, and only thing is that there is an ornament. That is what is superimposed. Aropita is the role that you play. Play the role of uh, husband, play the role of wife, play the role of a teacher. Whatever that the role that we play is only a temporary phase that you are doing it. If we understand that, then what happens is that we don't get caught up in that. That is the idea. We get immersed in that. So deeply we get immersed that many times we lose the peace of mind because of the role that we play. And for such a long time that it will be bothering us. When I was working in the project area, that a lot of people that I knew, and afterwards I came to Bangalore, I joined Vyasa, and after several years, then I happened to go to project area. All these people who I knew, they all came by now. Actually, their kids have grown up. So they brought their kids, all grown up men, 7, 8 year old kids. And then because that I went to Vivekananda Kendra, Kanyakumari training and all that, they said that, okay, you sing some shlokas and this and that, Bhagavad Gita you chant. So the children were chanting very happily. One child, he was a naughty child. So said, come on, you chant. He said, I don't know anything. No, you know everything. And I said, I don't know. But you know this Shiva Stuti, this Stuti, that Stuti. No. And mother used to give prompt him, but then he would not say. He was playing. That is it. Mother was so serious that that afternoon, that mother came back to me and said, Raghuramji, my son knows everything. Only thing is that day, that time he was adamant. That's why he did not speak. It was like she was trying to give an explanation. I said, oh, don't worry about it. It's a very simple thing that is there. You should not get caught up in this thing. She was crying actually that way. I mean, I said, uh, don't think that my son does not know all these things, please. I said, no, I know very well that he knows a lot of things, the way that you ask him, all that. So that means to say the life we became so serious. We don't take it as Leela, as a play. Look at the way how the cricket match, everything has become. It's supposed to be play, but then it has gone so deeply into that. There is so much of animosity, there's so much of disturbances that happen, and the statistics, people hold on to it. This is what essentially that it says, that all these things are the philosophies to give you idea to see that you sail through the life. And when I say that a drama actor is playing an act, very seriously he'll be playing an act. That is very important. Otherwise, the drama will not be interesting, and he will have all the makeup, everything, and all that. He goes onto the stage and he becomes extraordinary. But the moment that the game is over, then he is free. That in the same green room, both of them, Ram and Ravan, they're sitting together and having a cup of chai, talking nicely. So they are not enemies there. So therefore, this is what Ramakrishna Paramahansa says, that and it says that the role that you should play should be very impressive. And he gives a very nice small little, and the stage is there in the village, the stage is all set and all that, and then the the producer comes running into the green room and said, hey Krishna, what is this? What happened to you? The curtain is going to lay, come on, you have to come up and all that. And then Krishna is talking, and then Shiva is talking, and with all the dress up and all those things. And then he say, immediately he just puts the bidi there. He say, don't touch my bidi. And then he rushes to the stage and then sat down in Shiva's posture. The curtain opens up. And 5 minutes that he was there in Shiva, and then all that happens, curtains down. Shiva comes back to his bidi. But that 10 minutes that Shiva is there on the stage, Ramakrishna was in the audience. He said, I go to ecstasy. That means the role that he plays, the role of Shiva, though very well that it is not he, but at the same time that he plays the role such an effective way that it becomes influencing somebody's life. That is the kind of thing. Role to play is that way. That's very important. So when the Upanishad says that this is the role that you are playing, it does not mean don't take it light, take it very seriously, work with that. But only thing is that it's peripheral. It's not the core. Core is yourself. And you must take it as seriously as really it is a life, but at the same time that you should know. Only you know that it's only peripheral, but you are there behind it. So this is the way that there are various mm, theories by which that whole thing is created. But all these three things, like the way these examples that these roles that we play are the aropita. The same way, if you go a little more behind it, even these things like wakeful dream and deep sleeps also aropita. That means you are not that, but you are somebody behind it, and these things are what just superimposed on you. So in the wakeful state, why they call it a superimposed? Because one does not have any connection with the other. You cannot translate the wakeful state into dream. Dream into wakeful state, you cannot do that. It is totally independent by themselves. So therefore, it is as independent as the way that you play the roles of the drama on the stage. The same way these things also. Now at three different levels, you see that. One level is that the roles that we play in the society. Like for example, You are the teacher, you are this, you are that. 1, 2, 3, 4, all those things, they are the roles to play. The second thing is that much more deeper at the family level, that you are a father, or you are a son, and you are a husband. These are all the things which are the aropita, roles that you play. At that level, that we can see that. But the role we play very seriously. But we know that it's only the role that we play. And behind all those things that you are. Now, once you know that you are one behind all these things, then the roles that we play, anything that we play, idea is to see that how it can help me to go back to my natural state. That is what is nourishing. Nourishing does not mean that I should have a big, huge body, I should have muscles developed, or I should have tons of knowledge. Nothing, they are not important. The knowledge that you have is also to see that whether it will take you to your Nijaswarupa. The Sharira that we have, is it there for the sake of spiritual growth? That is there. That's what is the meaning of Sharira. The idea is Sharira Madhyam Khalu Dharma Sadhana. That sadhana is something which is very important. The whole world that you interact in the world outside, various roles, is to see that how can my role that we play outside will take me back into my state. So this is the role, that is the way that the going back to yourself is what is the whole purpose of doing all this thing. Now, very important aspect is that now we see we are very clear one thing about this is that rest of the world, what they thinks of nourishment, it's not the way that Vedanta thinks of nourishment or the Mandukya Upanishad suggests about nourishment. It is going back to yourself. And that self is supposed to be Brahman or Atman, whatever you call it. At the individual, from individual point of view, when you look at it, it is Atman. From the Brihat, from the Jagat point of view, when you look at it, that is the same thing as Brahman. So whatever that you call it as Jivatma is same as Paramatma. So this is one and the same thing, and our journey is to reach that. But then what is the characteristic of Jivatma? How do we understand that? So that is what we have seen the next sutra, that is what is the seventh mantra that is given. The one that is the seventh mantra is that Nanta Prajnam, Nabhai Prajnam, No Bhayata Prajnam. Because basically what happened is the wakeful state Prajna, dream prajna, and the sleep prajna. We have these prajnas that are there. That means to say, I am wakeful and I see, I watch. My prajna is there. My dream, I have a prajna there. So that means dream I is created, wakeful I is created. This is what is Bahish prajna is a wakeful observer. Antar prajna is the dream I that you create. Well, he has given right from the beginning of the mantra is Nanta Pragyam. It's a very important point. Last time also I said, but let me make it much more clear that Anta Prajna is actually the idea of dream I that you create. But it is not only the dream I, but it also creates the I consciousness inside. We create several I's within us. This is what we call it as consciousness. My conscience does not permit. The conscience gets hurt. And it's all given by one thing is my culture gives me a conscience. My education gives me a conscience. My various other things will give me a conscience. So therefore, several conscience we create, and that is guiding us. It's very important that we create that and it guides us. Because basically, every conscience you create is like a policeman that you create inside. Like how much policeman can control you outside. So we have to have a create a policeman inside. And it's so deeply created, like how beautiful it is. It's very important that, particularly Indian culture, when we look at it, if we have a vow that on Mondays they do not eat food, come what may, Monday they do not eat food. It's all right that nobody is watching, it's okay. Once in a while I can move, violate that. You can't do that. Ekadashi day, I've seen people that they're doing the marriage ceremony for their own child, son or a daughter. And on that day, they have served feast for everybody with so many tons of items that is there. But when it comes to them, say, I just take only the fruits, nothing beyond that. What an unfortunate. And Nobody prevents you from taking food. No, it is your own created. No, I'd have to do it myself. So that means who you are obliging to, that is what is the I that you create, the antaprajna. So there are several antaprajna that we create. One created by the society, one created by my own culture. So like this, and then they're very strict about it. Let me quote one small little example that when long time ago in Shravan Belgola there was a Jain uh, World Jain Conference or something like that was going on, and government has made wonderful arrangements because one thing is in Jain community they give a lot of importance to cleanliness. They want to have everything clean, pure, clear, everything. So they provided taps everywhere. Every tent is provided with a tap, nice, wonderful way that you can wash your utensils, etc. Everything was provided. And myself and my friend, we were there in one of the tents. And then there was next to tent. There were some people coming from Rajasthan, Jains. They were staying there. And so normally what happens is that when people uh, eat food and all that. After that, they clean the whole thing, nicely wipe it, and then shining. They keep the plates, everything. It is like that. My friend came really worried, came to me. I said, Raghu, see the next door, next tent, Jains, they don't have this cleanliness concept at all. I said, how can that be possible? They're all Jains, and then with the dedication that they came all the way, they must be having that. And I tried to, what is that happen to see? They dirty the whole utensils, they dirty it before they eat food. I just couldn't believe it. But then I said, let me watch it. I was watching. They are from Rajasthan. Rajasthan, water is not available in plenty many times. So they, but then they're Jain, they want purity. So what they do is actually and it's all desert. Desert sand is pure and very dry, absolutely dry. So when they eat food, after that, they put the sand and wipe it out and then they clean it. That's a very nice way of cleaning it. I realized that. But then these people from Rajasthan, they came. They wash everything with the water, everything they clean it, rinse it. After that, they put the sand in that and then they clean it because they're stuck with that idea. So that means to say their conscience will not permit them if I don't do that kind of cleanliness. I was laughing at myself. See, this is what is the antaprajna that you create. Like this, when you look at so many different antaprajna that we have created. Right hand with give, left hand you don't give. So this is also antaprajna that you create. So our culture gives so many different types of argument. That's why he says first thing is any of these things, awareness that is created inside antaprajna, you are not that. It's all because the world outside. You see, all those things that you follow in the form of inner conscience is nothing but the conscious of behaving with the world outside. It's all belong to the Jagrata. It's not yours. You are not that. It's all something which you created. If you are not born in the Jain family, that you have that kind of thing. If you are born in a Muslim family, this is a different kind of thing. And if you are born in a Christian family, that's a different thing. So that means these are the things which are given by the outside. So not the prajna. It's very clearly, simply, all these things are put together and you see that you are not that. These are all necessary. When you say that you are not that, that means to say they are not unnecessary. There's something which is necessary in the world outside. You need to have it. But at the same time, don't identify yourself with that. Nanta prajnam, nabahish prajnam. So you are somebody, or Atma is somebody. It is no external awareness. So external awareness, very often what happens is in all these activities that we do, the moment that you say yoga, there is awareness. People become aware of. Shaucha, Santosha, Sadhya, all these things, you always have to have awareness. And in fact, that's so beautifully said that it is not just only cleanliness or orderliness, but you have an awareness of being clean, being ordered. Slowly, what happens over a period of time, that becomes like your obsession. That means your awareness is so strong that things are clean and clean and clean. You clean so many times, but at the same time, you still see the dirt in that. So not only that you see the dirt in what you, but you see the dirt in others. Now you don't see yourself, but others. Look at him, he is not following this. He is like he seemed to be yogi, but look at him what he is. So that you find fault with that. So that is not the idea. It's an observer that you create, the policeman that you create. So Bahish Pragyam, Tanta Pragyam, the Bahish Pragyam. Now Bhayata Pragyam. That means whatever that wakeful state that is there, which strengthens your wakeful awareness, it is not you. It's again an instrument that you use. That's the reason why this instrument, what you use outside, for outside purposes, is ahankara. That's what we have. Antakarana, the karana, that means instrument that you provide, is manas, buddhi, chitta, ahankara. That ahankara you create in such a way, all these things are managed by you. But it belongs to the world outside. You are somebody, not that. That's why Nanta Pragyam, Nabahish Pragyam, Naubhayata Pragyam. There is a prajna state which is doesn't belong to the wakeful or dream state. It may be because of some influence of the drug, influence of some other external agencies, whatever that might happen. You might go to a stage where you are not aware of outside, not aware of inside. Now, Ubhayata Pragyam, Na Pragyam, Na Pragyam. That means jnana is not there, or jnana is even prajna is not you, aprajna is also not. So therefore, everything is not. You are not that. The very idea, why he says that all these things, na nanta prajnam, nabhish prajnam, nobheta prajnam, na prajnana ghanam. That's what is a sleep. Sleep is a state where prajna has become solidified. Na prajnam and na prajnam. So everything is no, nothing, nothing, neti, neti, ityeva. But the idea is that anything that you say in the form of prajna is with an idea of dvaita. That means you know. The knower is there, known is there. The last dvaita that we have is this knower and known. This is this is the most ultimate dvaita that we have. So that he would like to deny. All other dualities are there outside. That's only for sake of purpose that we have created duality. Father and mother duality, mother and parent and children in reality. All these things are function reality outside. Of all such dualities, educated, uneducated, and rich and poor, all these dualities are there, belong to the world outside. Of all these things, the deepest of the duality is this prajna, knowledge, and then knowing. These are the two things that are there, which is supposed to be the knower and then the know. This is what is called as prajna. Any prajna is outside of you, which means basically that you cannot see you because you are not a part of that prajna. Only thing is you have to dissolve. So people say that you are seeing the Atmasthiti. It's again, it's a misnomer, misidea, because it's not the part of prajna. So this way, when we say that it's not one part of knowing, knowledge. So therefore, but then what is that positive way? It says adrushtam avyavaharyam. See, drushtam, that means it's sensory organs available for that is called as drushtam. Adrushtam, it's not available for any of the sensory organ. Most powerful sensory organ is the eyes. Adrushtam avyavaharyam. In fact, the most important aspect of this particular creation is manifest world is the vyavahara. That means to say, it's the karma, activity. So this activity is what is vyavahara and avyavaharyam. This is not something which is you can interact with. That means to say that I am Atman, so let my Atman interact with your Atman. It's not the question of anything which is interacting type. Avyavaharyam and adrishtam avyaharyam, agrahyam, alakshanam, achintyam. Chintana is so lower level that's far beyond that. Whatever, in fact, you see that whatever you feel itself is beyond all the chintana. That's not available for any interaction at the mind level, achintya, avyapadeshyam, and ekatma pratyayasaram. Ekatma, there is only one thing that is there. There's only oneness that is there. Pratyayasaram. Prapancha upashamam shantam shivam advaitam. Prapancha upashamam. That means to say all that prapancha that is there is far removed from very simple thing is that the moment that you go up into the sky, itself you can see that the world is down below. And you are free from the world outside. You are onlooker of that. So the prapancha is that all this, whatever made out of various uh, various things that are there, prapancha upashamam, everything is nice. Shantam Shivam Advaitam. The Shantam is a very important idea. One Shanta is where you are not interacting with the world, you are not conscious of the world outside, and you are peaceful. See, when somebody dies, you can see that before the death, there is struggle that's going on in him. But the moment life leaves that body, then he is peaceful. You can say at one the peace is there, Shantam. This is one piece where you are not there. There is another piece that is there where you dissolve yourself. So this is one piece that is there at the manifest, end of the manifest. And this one piece is there, it is the prior to the manifest. So Shantam. And therefore it says Shantam Ekatma Pratyasaram Prapanchoham Shantam Shivam. Shivam is basically the idea that it can never be dirty. Nothing can really influence it. Nothing can smear onto that. A mirror which is clean, anything is there at the dust on the top of the mirror. It does not change the mirror. It's all on the top. Whatever that is there in the world outside, you may be a criminal, you may be a saint, you may be this, you may be that. All those things do not touch you. It's all about the outside world, like the way dust gathered on the mirror. So at that level, there is no question of saint and a sinner. There is a question of pious and impious. None of these things are there. It's a very beautiful word which has no pairs of opposite, which is like Shivam, Advaitam. Shivam is that, and that is another word, that beautiful word in Sanskrit we have, is what is called as Pavana. See, Pavitra, Apavitra, and Punya, Apunya. See, these are all opposites. Whereas Pavana doesn't have any word opposite to it. It is just one. It includes everything that is there. So this is what is Shivam, Advaitam. The Shivam itself is where there is no Dvaita, there is no duality involved in that. Chaturtham Manyante. Now, you see, here he says that Advaitam, it is not just only the two, because one to become two, then it becomes three, four, five, it can become any number. So Advaita means even the second does not happen. The second is not there. Where is the question of others? Others do not happen. So Advaitam is that there is only way of saying that there is only one. Saying only one is the idea of Advaita. But at the same time, immediately he says that Advaita followed by Chaturtham. Number four has come. It's a very funny thing because here he says Advaitam, immediately followed by Chaturtham. So what is that Chaturtham? Why it is Advaitam? Chaturtham, because we have been discussing about all these three experiences that we have, Jagrata, Swapna, Sushupti. Now that means basically there is one more experience beyond all these three. That's what is the fourth experience. And that fourth experience cannot be qualified by any property, any idea, because basically the moment you give him any property, any idea, it belongs to the wakeful dream or deep sleep state. We have seen that. In fact, the moment that you say that any value that you give, it belongs to the wakeful state. Any conscience that you create, antapragya, it's again belong to the wakeful state. Nothing about inside, nothing about yourself. So you are beyond all these things. That's what is Chaturtham. Manyante Satma Sachavikneya. That's what you are. Now the question comes, don't we have that experience? Or is it just only the um, just an inference? an inference that all these three states are coming on you, therefore you are the fourth one. So one thing idea is this also is Chatushpada. It says that pada means fourth, one fourth of it. It's like four legs are there, first leg, second leg, third leg, and this fourth leg. It's not that way. It is not separately. It is something which is behind all these three things, but does not belong to any of these things. That's the idea of pada. That's why he says that amatraha chaturtha pada. It is not part of chaturtha is not part of division. 1, 2, 3, 4. Amatraha. It's not a division, it's behind it. We should understand it very simple way. Like for example, this division of 1, 2, 3, 4 comes at a gross level. Like body level, that there is gross. But the moment you come to the subtle level, that means at the prana level, already that you see that the subtlety, the boundaries are gone. Mind level, much more boundaries are removed. When you look at the individual level. When you look at the cosmic level, look at the way water, when you put in separate containers, it has boundary. But the moment it come out of it, there's no boundary. The river comes and mixes with the ocean, it becomes the same ocean. There's no question of separate boundary. When you say that water itself doesn't have a boundary, the light itself doesn't have any boundary, further subtler than that. Like in this room, that there are 3, 4, 5 lights are there. Everything lit, there is no question of this is this light or that is that light. So that means boundaries are gone. 1, 2, 3, 4 boundaries are gone. And then the fourth one is this same way, Akasha. Akash itself is something which has no boundary. In fact, the very beautiful idea about Akasha, no boundary, is that the if Akasha is the room, like for example, in this place, in this room, that there is so much of room that is there. If I put some 10 articles here, the articles came up so that the Akasha is not replaced from here. It doesn't go and occupy somewhere else. As I belong to this room only, but the room has so many objects, that's why I'm outside there. It is not like that. It just becomes that object. It takes the form of that object. See, that means to say Akasha itself doesn't have a rigid boundary. When you say that it is much subtler than the Akasha, that's what is the fourth one, consciousness, and that has absolutely no boundary. So it must much subtler than this Akasha itself, in the sense that Akasha itself remains as Akasha only, place remains as Akasha, but whereas consciousness become everything. That's what is basically the idea which we started with, saying that consciousness becomes everything by giving up its freedom. The total freedom is what is consciousness. So, Shivam Advaitam Chaturtham Manyante. That consciousness is what is Chaturtham. And that's what is you are. So, and this, is it only a derived, or is it something which is there in our experience? In fact, we have this in our experience. Only thing is that we have to be carefully watching that. Many times when you are engaged in the physical world outside world, attracting so many things, and then you would like to have a little respite, and then go to a beach and sit down, just relax, be ease. At that point of time, you suddenly look at yourself. You are neither wakeful, nor sleeping, nor dreaming, nothing is there, and you are just there. You become one with being, that's all. And that may be a few minutes of experience, few seconds of experience, but we touch that. Similarly, that many times we get up from the sleep and then wake up. Before we actually wake up, there is a pause that we give where we are in that state. So this state is something which is the fourth state, is there in our experience again and again. But only thing is that it is not an experience in the sense of experience, because experience is experiencer is there. But here experiencer is also merged in that, but you will be there. In fact, what is the advantage of that is it is like wonderful state of blissful state being there. That's it. So therefore, that this is what is Chaturtha. This is what is Turiya. That state is there. It's very much like a sleep state, but you are not a deep sleep state, but you are not sleeping. Many times that even in the people when they do yoga, they have this fourth state experience. like you are listening to the instructions given by the instructor about relaxation, relax your pose, relax your heels, relax your body, say akara, say ukara, all those things you hear, but you are so deeply relaxed. At one point of time, you feel that instructions are not coming anymore. You're not hearing any more instructions or anything like that. And then suddenly there is one instruction that comes up, turn around, sit down, or say Om. It's a instruction of activity. Immediately you do the activity. So you start suddenly wondering, all the while was the instructor not giving instructions? See, because you did not hear, you feel that you did not. No, instructions are coming because others were hearing. Second doubt comes whether, am I sleeping? If you are sleeping, you wouldn't have gotten up with this instruction. See, that means you are not sleeping. So you are not wakeful, you are not dreaming, you are not sleeping, but you are in a state where you are available. Your-ness is there. And that is what is basically the turiya. Of course, some people are there that they go to sleep. Shavasana is a wonderful incentive to go to sleep. So I don't mind because that sleep is a wonderful sleep. At least in Shavasana, they could sleep. Many times people don't get sleep, say, lying on the bed. I say continue to sleep. And if somebody sleeps, don't disturb him. Accepting that person who's sleeping, if he's in a sound sleep, that means sleep for you, sound for others. Then you have to wake him up and say that don't make noise because others also should not get disturbed. So that is the idea. Otherwise, we have that experience of turiya here and there, bits and pieces, and so many times. In fact, not only these things, even in the dream, in deep sleep state, when you have dream and when dream to wakeful state, when you come up, or the sleep state when you go, the transition, you always get into that turiya sthiti. Turiya sthiti is a state where you're changing the gear in the car from one gear to another gear that you change. In between that, there is always a neutral. And from there, you go to the next gear. But it is so short lived that you don't even notice that you're going through the neutral. So our system also goes through that, the fourth state here and there. And that's what is Turiya. So whatever that is experience of fourth state, it is there in our experience. We go through that. Only thing is, if we really wait, watch and see that, then you get that experience. And many times what happens is that the whole meditation is nothing but you withdraw from the wakeful state, intensity. That's why when you sit for meditation, you try to reduce the lights, you reduce the volumes, sound that is there. All these things we do to see that intensity of the wakeful impressions, impact on you comes down. You want to bring down that impact is not there. Because if it is greater impact, then it will draw you into the wakeful state. But you want to withdraw from the wakeful state. Therefore, you withdraw all these impact of the wakeful state intensity on us. Reduce the sounds, reduce the pictures, reduce all those things so that light. But people who are adept, they can sit down in a market also, they can go to meditation. It's few of them, it can be possible that they can withdraw in the material world outside. Otherwise, material world draws you out. So therefore, first thing that we need to do in meditation is to see that impact of the outside world is reduced so that you can concentrate, you can just go inwards. That's the first step of going inwards. But then what happens when we go inwards? Then suddenly we start going into the dream state. So wake up yourself from the dream state. Don't enter into the way. Then if you avoid these two things, in the deep sleep you can get it. Avoid that also. That's why we say, oh, see that all these three we leave aside and then go to a silence, which is neither wakeful nor dreamful. That's what is the fourth state. Turiya is the fourth state. That's what in the next mantra he talks about Om. So that fourth state, we try to reach that. But then every time we try to reach that, it disturbs us because we have no experience of that. The idea is that we are doing something, we have to do something. that kicks in. The moment that kicks in, you come out of it. But then that fourth state is something that is what you are. It's experiential. It is there in your experience. Once you do that, then you see that that experience is always there within you. And once you understand that, then you see, oh, what is this Turiya he's talking about is there in our experience. So that is the way that this fourth state is you, Brahman, Atman. This is called as Atma. A lot of people call it as Atma is very mystic way. But I would like to say that Atma is just referring to the saying that I am that. I am that Atman. I am that Atman. And that's what is Brahman. Soyam Atma, Paramatma. That's what it's the way that Upanishad talks about it. The same Atman is also Paramatma in the sense that whatever that boundaryless state that I reach, everybody has everything in this creation has that boundaryless state. So come out of that boundary is that fourth state. Now he gives the Gaudapada brings about Karikas of this particular thing. What is the advantage of this particular fourth state? All right. Life goes on without knowing ourselves, without even having noticed that the glimpse that we have, the glimpse of peaceful state that we have, not without noticing that, we life goes on. But what is the advantage of noticing these things? Gaudapada gives about beautiful explanation about this fourth state. Once we reach that fourth state, Nanta Pragyam, Navihi Pragyam, Nobhayata Pragyam, etc., he says that Nivrutte Sarva Dukkhana Ishanaha Prabhuravyayaha Advaitaha Sarva Bhavana Devastulyo Vibhuhu Smrita. That's what is the Karika, which says that Nivrutte Sarva Dukkhana. He gives the Nivrutti from the Sarva Dukkha, from all kinds of dukkha. It gives freedom from that. Sarva Dukkhana. Ishanaha. Now it is called it as Ishvara. The same Turiya he calls here as Ishvara with a specific idea why he calls it Ishvara. We'll see that. Prabhu, that means he is the master. Who is the master? You are the master. Avyayaha. That means Avyayaha, that means where there is no Vyaya, it's always there. Because that it becomes wakeful dreams, states, or you get lost in that, you mean to say that Turiya state is reduced, Turiya state has come down, or it is insignificant? No, it's always there. Avyaya. So, Nivrutte Sarva Dukkhana Ishanaha Prabhurishwara Prabhu Avyaya Advaitaha Sarva Bhavana Devastulyo Vibhu Smrita. Devastulya. It's like God. Vibhu Smritaya. Karya, now he comes to the next sutra. Karyakana Baddhauto Avishyete Vishwatajasaha Prajnaha Karanabaddhastu Dauto Turyo Navidyate. So Karya Karana Baddha in the wakeful state and dream state, Tau in these two states, first two states, wakeful and dream state, they are bound by Karya Karana. That means cause and effect connection is there in wakeful and dream state. Wakeful state also is connected with dream. Wakeful is the Dvaitaha, I mean Karya Karana, that means cause and effect connection is there. And though in both these states, Vishishyete Vishwataijasa. Vishwa and Taijasa. Vishwa is the wakeful state, I. Taijasaha is the I in the dream state. That means I, the dreamer, I, the wakeful experiencer, dream experiencer, wakeful experience, both these things have this Karya Karana Baddha. That means there is a cause and effect connection. Prajnaha Karanabaddhastu. The third state, that's what is the dreamless sleep state. That's what is Prajnaha Karanabaddhastu. There is only Karana. Karya Karana is until here two states. Here there is only Karanabaddha. There it is Karya Karanabaddha. Here it is only Karanabaddhastu. Dauto Turyo Nasidyate. In Turya, this is not there. So here he goes a little more deep into trying to understand this Karya Karanabaddha. And in prajna, that means in deep sleep state, there is karnabadha. Turiya, there is no karnabadha. Even that's also not there. Natmanam naparashaiva, na satyam napi chamrityam. Atmanam param. These two things. This is Dvaita. Na atmanam naparashaiva, na satyam napi amritam. That means satya and ansatya. Prajnaha kinchana samveti turyotat sarvaduk sada. So prajna, that means in the case of prajna, that you may not see it, but it is there in the background. It comes up. Whereas turyo, now that's sarvaduk sada. It's there always. Dvaitasya grahanam tulyam, the 13th shloka that is there. Dvaitasya agrahanam. The moment that this dvaita then given, Uvayoho prajnaturyayoho. In prajnaturya, there is this dvaita. Whereas bija nidrayuta prajnaha sachaturyo na vidyate. So, bija nidrayuta prajnaha. In the prajna sthiti, we are in the form of the seed form, it is there. Sachaturyo na vidyate. So let's see these three sutras, try to understand how these three sutras are connected. The first thing is, and how to apply it in the day-to-day life, it's also very important. First thing is that he says is that karya karana bhattha, very important aspect of this, cause and effect connection. We always have the scientific cause and effect connection. Because you look at the children, they have not yet created that cause and effect connection. For them, the activity comes up without cause and effect connection. In the whole nature also it is like that. Like for example, you ask the nature why flower rose, why the flower flowers in the forest. Nobody is there to appreciate it. It is my nature that I give the flowers. It's not dependent upon somebody appreciates, somebody sees it. That's what is the nature. The river flows. Why the river flows? Yes, it flows. It's nature. We call it as dharma. So the nature does not have this karya karana baddha. Children also like that. They're sitting and playing. Suddenly they get up and walk. Why did you get up? No reason. That's why children, when you ask them, why did you come? When we were all small kids, one girl used to be there in the next door, and then she would come and knock on the door. Because we can't reach the tower board. My mother has to come. So she comes all the way, leaving the kitchen work, and then open the door. And this girl stands there, Auntie Ake, very happy with a smile on her face. Mother, why did you come? The child has no answer for that because there is no reason. To go back, it's a simple thing. So when do you go back? Later on. So we are caught up with the cause and effect connection. In fact, if we are not having any cause and effect connection, we feel that as if that we don't have support of the world. The wakeful state and dream state have major support is the karya karana baddha. Bandhana. This is what is the bondage by which that we are caught up with that. We do every activity because there is something. Why did it come? Child says, because, and you are waiting. What is that because? There is no cause. Where is the question of because? Waiting. He just smiles. Nothing. There is nothing. The nothingness is something which is very important. But we are caught up with this. How many activities that we do in the day-to-day without the cause and effect connection? So that means as long as the cause and effect connection is there, you are in the wakeful state, you are in the dream state. Dream also has a similar thing. You are afraid because that you see a tiger there. Who created the tiger? You created the tiger. There's no answer for that. You created the tiger, why are you afraid of it? Now I'm afraid because I've seen the tiger. And maybe I created the tiger. So therefore, essentially that these two states are the states where it is bound by rigidly by the karya karma sambandha. And it may be in the dream, but it may be in the daydream also. You see that your whole planning, everything that is going on inside your mind is based on the karya karma. So cause and effect connection. Greatest of the bondage that we have is the cause and effect connection. We would like to see. Can we come out of this cause and effect bondage? At least consciously somewhere, something like that. In fact, that is what the Shastras say, that physical body is connected by cause and effect connection. Whereas our psychology, that means deep inside that you are not bound by cause and effect connection. Karyakarana Baddha is not there. You don't have to react something else. Reaction is based on Karyakarana Sambandha. You don't have to react. You have a freedom within. Very simple way that we can adapt that. Somebody's feet touches you, you feel angry. That fellow kicked me. He did not kick you, feet touched you. Oh, you should be careful, you should not touch the feet. There's no cause and effect connection, but we connected that. How many things we connected without cause and effect connection that is there, but we connected it. So our whole society is created by this cause and effect connection. Somebody says good morning, you reply good morning. Somebody says something, you do. So we train the child also like that, continuously cause and effect connection. So I was in Turkey. In Turkey, people don't know English. If somebody knows English, they feel very. The person who knows English is somebody who is great. So I used to speak English, so that's why Turkish people used to be very. I had a great respect in Turkey. And the mothers used to have, usual language. The children, they want to show that the child knows English. So one mother was saying to ask Raghuram in English, what's his name? In Turkish language. The boy replied, irritated, he replied to the mother, I know his name is Raghuram. No, no, you ask him in English. Now the mother wants to feel proud. The son asks in English. So he asked, what's your name? I said, my name is Raghuram. What is your name? And he gave his name. Finish. Conversation started. Now mother wants some more conversation because she doesn't know English. She wants her son to speak English. Said, so ask, do you have any son? Do you have any son? Yes, I have one son. I said, that conversation stopped. It's not something more. Why? Talk to them. What your son does, what is this, what is that? This boy got so irritated because the mother says, so he started speaking something gibberish, nothing meaning. I also started replying something with my own. And the mother asked, what did you ask him? I said, don't know. And I don't want to tell you. Uncle understands. Raghuram understands. So he replies. So we are conversing. So she was very happy. Karyakarana Sambandha. We teach the children to have that kind of Karyakarana Sambandha. For everything that we are caught up in that Karyakarana. Can you just be out of it? At least about few minutes. Do the activity just because that it is cause and effect connection. You're free from that. If you've taken a stand free from cause and effect connection, you're free from both Jagrata and Swapnasthiti, because both these things are bound by cause and effect connection. Karyakarana Baddha. That's what it says, that Karyakarana Baddha Avishyete Vishwatajasaho Prajna Karanabaddhas. The more and more that we create karma, here the karma is basically samskaras, Baddhavto, Doto, Turyena Vidyate. However much, whatever may be samskaras that you keep in your deep inside, they are there in the, prajnana ghana, and the seedal form it is there. But Turiya is not touched by that. It's all about outside. Turiya is you, so you are not touched by that. But basically that it is mounted on top of you. You are not there, mounted on top of you. Therefore, that karana is something you create that, and it is in the dream form, in the deep sleep form, dreamless sleep form. It is there in the seed form. When it is not there, that such a person is the person. When he drops dead, he leaves this body. It doesn't have any more bondages. That means there is no karana. So therefore he doesn't think. That's why it is said, one who dissolves all the vasanas before he dies, that's what is mukti or moksha. One who vasanas are there, but he dies. That's what is mrityu. Death is when the vasanas are there, but you die. The mukti is where vasanas are not there, and then before you die. That's what mukti or moksha. So prajna karanabaddhast. Prajna, there is karanabaddha. That's why such a person who is there, the prajna, where there is no karanabadha is not there. Such a person is a person, his sleep is supposed to be yoga nidra. That means sleep just for the sake of sleep, but he is not caught up in the sleep. People get caught up in the sleep because either sleeplessness or sleep, because that there is karanabadha. So now let's come back to just now this particular idea of karya karanabadha is the one which is the cause for our misery. Let's go back to the 10th sutra, which is there. Nivrutte sarva dukkha. Dukkha that we have, suffering that we have, is because of karya karana sambandha. So once the karya karana sambandha is not there, there is no question of dukkha at all. You look at every dukkha that you have, because something has to happen one way, it happened in a different way. You wanted it to happen this way, didn't happen that way. Or you wanted it should not happen that way, but it happened that way. See, that means basically any activity that you have, there are three types of dukkha: adi bhautika, adi daivika, adhyatmika, whatever it is. In all these three cases, these are very technical terms, but a very simple thing is, in my day-to-day life, I do the activity, adi bhautika, physical activity. I see that everything will be smooth. There is no question of untoward thing that happens. Is adi bhautika dukkha, you come out of it. Adi daivika is, you see, whether it is rain or sun or this and that, I unnecessarily mount my expectations. I unnecessarily mount my cause and effect. Oh, today it should not rain. Why? Because I'm going out somewhere. See, I put this karya karana behind all these things. If I don't have any of those things, I go flow with that. When I flow with that, then there is no question of dukkha. So therefore, this adhyadaivika, adhyatmika, adhyatmika. These are all there because of the karya karana bandhana. The moment that you free yourself from the karya karana bandhana is the way that you are free from dukkha. Sukha is our own nature, and happiness is our own nature. Joy is our own nature. Blissful is our own nature. Only thing is, dukkha is something which is caused by outside. What is causing dukkha? Is because expectations. And what causes expectations is karya karana bandha. I've written way, mothers come and say that, my child has answered very well. He put very good this thing. But you know what? The teacher is so bad. He gave wrong marks. He did not give marks. The teacher is bad. All this suffering comes because that you have karya karana bandha. That's the reason why only way that you can come out of that nivrutte sarvadukkana is only when you come up out of karya karana bandha. Such a person, when he comes out of karya karana bandha, and something which removes all your dukkha is the God. That's why Ishanaha. Until that time it is Turiya, but Turiya becomes God-like. The experience of Ishvara, Isha comes, because that he is talking about the dukkha. Ishanaha, Sarva Dukkhanam, Prabhu Avyaya. Abundance is there within us. Abundance of that state that is there without Karika Anabadha is there. And Advaitaha Sarva Bhavana. So in this bhava, Ishwari bhava, Advaita is natural. That means you don't have what Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, that dukkeshu anadvigna manaha, sukeshu vigatas prabha, bhitaraga bhayakrodhas, stitatihi muniruchate. So das vibhu smritaha. That's what is state we reach. So nivrutte sarva dukkhana ishana prabhravyaya. Advaitaha sarva bhavana devasturyo vibhu smritaha. And then karya karana baddhautau अविशिष्यते विश्वतैजसः प्राज्ञः कारणबद्धस्तु दोतौ तुल्यो न सिद्ध्यते नात्मानं न परांशैव न सत्यं नापि चार्थतो प्राज्ञं किञ्चन संवेत्ति तुर्यः तत् सर्वदृक् सदा. Turiya is that where sarvadruk sadha. Everything is the same. Everything is blissful. Everything is one. Atmanam, that means me and outside. Natmanam na paraha. There's nothing me, nothing outside. Na satyam na pichatatam. This is real, this is unreal. That means Dvaita world is not there. Prajnaha kinchana sampeti turiyatat sarvadruk samaha. In Prajna it is there, deep inside, in the cetal form. But in the case of Turiya, it doesn't exist as Sarvatra. This is what in Patanjali also in the Yoga Sutras, he says that there is at one level that this cetal form is there, and your meditation takes you deeper level. There he says, Dagdha Bijamatu. Even the seed is dissolved, does not have sprouting property. You reach that state once you give up this idea of what is called as Karyakarnabandha. So in this way, Gaudapada gives us the most important idea of what are these three states and what is the Turiya, which is supposed to be you are. Atma itself is Turiya, Brahman itself is Turiya, and free from your suffering. That's what it gives us. So I'll stop it at this level. So we'll close the session. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. So if there are any questions, you can unmute and ask. Otherwise, there's the session.
This Atma is free from the
Any of these.
any of it is untouched. Yeah?
Yes.
So then how these desires are carried forward through lives?
This is what is in the dream state, in the deep sleep state, he says that prajnana ghana. That is like a baggage that we carry with us. Though it is, we are not touched by that, but still that we would still carry that. That has to be dissolved. If we don't dissolve that, then we carry that. That means I want to still achieve something. So the I, which is supposed to be without any form, without any this thing, but it has assumed this notion that I still have to finish certain activities. Unfinished job is there. This is what is my identification with that. Though I don't have to do that, I don't have to carry that, but I still carry that unfinished. That's the reason why I said that if at this moment of time that I don't have anything to do, just free from that, I'm living because that I'm living in this world. Prana is there, this is there, so I'm living. Nothing else is hanging on to me other than just living. Such a person is a person who is Jivan Muktaha. He is free from now itself. He doesn't have any agenda. That's why Krishna says very strongly in Bhagavad Gita, saying that Yasya naham kruto bhavo buddhihi yasya nalipyate. Where the aham kruta bhava is not there, buddhi is hatvapi saimam lokan nahanti naripadyate. He might kill the whole world, but nahanti, he is not the killer. Nanipadyate, he is not bound by killing. The activity doesn't bind him.
But for many of us, this is like a case of suffering, not having anything to do. And
We are so much attached to the doing that not doing anything is like a suffering.
suffering. Yeah, it's like I'm useless.
Yes. Very beautifully said. Most important thing, the bondage that we have is we are a doers. We want to be doer. Wonderful. So, okay, I think we'll leave the session. Thank you.
Thank you, Raghuram ji.
Thank you.